Hello and welcome to the making of the Gambeson video. Let's get started. The first step is I will be cutting out all the pieces of batting that I will need for the different segments of the Gambeson. To do this, I will need the batting, a ruler, a felt marker, my fabric scissors, and the pattern for the Gambeson that I made in the last video. Now I have laid out the batting. I'm going to take the first piece from my pattern here, lay it out, and then I'm going to use my felt marker and mark the edges of the piece that needs to be cut out. Here is the first piece marked out on the batting. Now I marked two pieces because each segment of the Gambeson will have two pieces of batting inside of it. So now I'm just going to cut these out. Here is the batting pieces for the first segment of the Gambeson. Now to keep track of everything, I'm going to clip these together and make a little tag for them to let me know which section of the Gambeson this is. Here you go, I have clipped the pieces together and made a little tag to help me keep track of what I'm doing. Now I'm just going to repeat this process for all the other segments of the Gambeson. So for each one of the parts of the pattern, I will need 2 more layers of batting, so that will be 14 pieces of batting. And here are all the different pieces of batting cut out for the separate sections of the Gambeson. The next step will be cutting the fabric for our outer layers. For this we will need our fabric, a ruler, the pattern, some fabric scissors, and some chalk pencils. Now those are very important. We do not want to use the felt marker when we are marking on our fabric. We will use the chalk pencils and those will not leave any permanent marks. I will now begin cutting out the outer layers. The first step is I take my pattern piece and I'm going to lay it down here. And I'm going to use my chalk pencil to draw it on the fabric. Now it's important when I do this that I give myself about 1 inch of bias on all the pieces. And that way when I'm sewing everything together, I won't be sewing through all the layers of the Gambeson, just the outer pieces, and that will make it much stronger. So I'm going to do that and draw the pieces out. It is fairly faint, but you should be able to see the lines here that I have drawn onto the fabric. Now I'm just going to repeat this for all the purple pieces. Now I know the fabric is wrinkled right now, but that's okay because I will steam it later. Here are the pieces for the outer layer cut out. Now it's important when you do this that on one of them you have the wrong side of the fabric facing up. So this way when you actually put the piece together, it will be the right side of the fabric facing on both sides. I have the padding here. It will sit inside like this, and then it will go on top. And that is the first piece. Now I'm just going to clip that to its corresponding batting piece and 3 more purple pieces to go. Here are all the purple segments cut out. Now I'm just going to repeat the steps for the golden pieces. And here are all the golden pieces. And here is a quick mock-up of the Gambeson to show you what it's going to look like. Now before I quilt all the pieces together, I'm going to use my fabric glue stick and I will glue the seams, and then I will do a test fitting. It is very important to do the test fitting because you want to know if the pieces will fit before you quilt them all together. And this is what it looks like basted together. This is what the back of the Gambeson looks like. And here it is open. This is the test fitting on the front. And this is the test fitting on the rear. Now it is time to quilt the pieces together. To do this, I'm going to use my ruler, my angle, and my chalk pencil, and I'm going to draw the first row of guidelines on this piece right here. There you go. The first row of guidelines are down. Now it's time to quilt it, and I will be using my number 69 bonded nylon thread. There it is with the first row of quilting stitches down. Now I'm just going to repeat that process, but this time mirrored to make the diamond pattern. There you go, that is the first segment quilted. Now I'm just going to repeat those steps for all the other gold pieces. Here are all the golden pieces quilted. And here are the purple pieces quilted. It is now time to make the sleeves. Now I'm going to use the piece of pattern here that I made earlier, but since this is only half the sleeve, I'm going to trace this piece on another piece of paper, cut it out, and then tape it together. There is my sleeve pattern. Now, just like the pieces of the Gambeson, I'm going to need to cut out 2 pieces of batting and 2 pieces of cloth for each sleeve. Here are the pieces of batting. And here are the pieces of outer fabric for the sleeves. Now, just like the other pieces of the Gambeson, I am now going to quilt everything together. Here are the completed sleeves. I did not do the diamond pattern, I just did straight lines, and that will prevent the sleeves from being too stiff. Okay, so now that we have all our pieces for the Gambeson, it's time to sew it together. We have the 4 pieces for the front, the 4 pieces for the back, and 2 sleeves. Let's get this done. Here's what the Gambeson looks like all sewn together. Now the seams are glued with my Mod Podge fabric, so before I flip it right side out, I have to give it 72 hours to dry. Now that everything is dry, it's time to do the bias tape. Now, often when you do projects like this, things change, so I will be doing white 1-inch double fold bias tape everywhere. And to begin, I have cut down the excess fabric here right down to the padding. So first step is I'm going to put the bias tape on and use my clips to clip it in place. Sorry everyone, I forgot to record the Gambeson with the bias tape clipped on, but now with it sewed, this is what it looks like. Very nice. And this is what it looks like with the Gambeson open. Now it's time for the last step, which is putting on the buckles. Now is the time for the last step, which is sewing on the buckles. To begin, I'm going to take my buckles and I'm going to figure out where I want them on the Gambeson itself, and then once I like the position, I will pin one to the fabric and begin sewing. Here is the first piece of the buckle pinned on. You can see here the pin sticking through, and that will help me know where I should be piercing with the needle. Here we have the first buckle sewn on, and I did a back stitch on both pieces. It's very solid and looks good. Now just 5 more to go. Here we are with the buckles all done. And that is it. The Gambeson is all done. I have to say that was not easy, definitely not a beginner project, but if you don't give up, you can make something great. See you next time.